Have you ever wondered what life is like in the farthest corners of Australia, where the nearest neighbor might be hundreds of miles away? Before we dive in, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, because the story you're about to hear is one you won't want to miss. Australia is a country of extremes. Endless deserts, vast plains, and remote communities dot its landscape. And for many people living in these isolated areas, airports aren't just conveniences, they are lifelines. These remote airports connect families, deliver essential supplies, and even save lives. But today, these vital hubs are facing a crisis, one that threatens not just travel, but the very survival of some communities. The issue starts with distance. Unlike major cities, where airports thrive on hundreds of thousands of passengers, remote airports often see just a few hundred travelers a week. That makes them extremely vulnerable to economic pressures. Flight routes that were once reliable can suddenly be deemed unprofitable, leaving towns with limited access to the outside world. Imagine a mother needing urgent medical care, or a farmer waiting for critical supplies, and the only plane that could get them there has been canceled due to cost-cutting measures. Fuel prices, staffing shortages, and the rising costs of maintenance only add to the problem. Many of these airports operate on tight budgets, and when revenue dips even slightly, it can cascade into delayed flights, reduced services, or worse, closure. In some cases, communities have had to rely on small charter flights, which are expensive and far less frequent. But it's not just about economics. These airports carry stories. Take, for example, the tiny airport in Broken Hill in the heart of New South Wales. It's more than a runway. It's the town's link to specialists in Sydney and Melbourne, the bridge that brings emergency crews to remote outposts, and the gateway for schoolchildren traveling to boarding schools far away. When flights are reduced, the consequences ripple through the community. Businesses struggle, families are separated, and healthcare access becomes a daily challenge. Some residents have shared the frustration of feeling cut off, despite living in a country known for its modern infrastructure. It's easy to forget, when looking at a map of Australia, that life in remote regions doesn't resemble the bustling life of Sydney, Brisbane, or Perth. For many, the airport is the only real connection to the rest of the nation, a lifeline as crucial as roads or telecommunications. Then there's the environmental factor. Australia's extreme weather, bushfires, floods, and storms can shut down even these small airports for days or weeks at a time. A single closure can leave communities stranded, with limited access to food, medicine, and emergency services. And unlike major airports, these smaller hubs often lack the infrastructure to recover quickly. A damaged runway or a storm-damaged terminal isn't just inconvenient, it's a crisis. The people who work at these airports often do so with passion and commitment far beyond the call of duty. Air traffic controllers, maintenance crews, and even volunteer staff understand that their role isn't just about flights taking off on time. It's about keeping a community alive. Yet, they face job insecurity, long hours, and the constant pressure of operating in a fragile economic ecosystem. The government has stepped in with subsidies and support programs, but even these are under constant review. The challenge is balancing taxpayer money with the essential nature of these airports. Unlike highways or schools, airports don't serve everyone, which sometimes makes them a difficult sell politically. Yet for the people who rely on them, losing an airport isn't an inconvenience, it's life-changing. And the crisis isn't just isolated to Australia. Across the globe, small regional airports are struggling to survive in a world dominated by high-speed rail, budget airlines, and mega hubs. But what makes Australia's situation unique is the sheer scale of its remote communities. With distances that would make travel between two small European towns seem trivial, these airports are not just transport hubs. They are social and economic lifelines. For the people living in these remote towns, the absence of a reliable airport is more than an inconvenience. It can feel like being cut off from the country they call home. Children can miss out on school trips or sports events. Local businesses struggle to get their products to market, and essential medical supplies can be delayed for days. It's a ripple effect that touches every part of life. Yet, despite the challenges, communities are finding ways to adapt. Some are partnering with regional airlines to create sustainable routes, even if they aren't the most profitable. Others are investing in small airstrips and local charter services that keep the essential connections alive. There's an impressive sense of ingenuity and resilience among people who refuse to accept isolation as their fate. Technology, too, is playing a role. Telemedicine, for instance, has begun to reduce some of the dependency on physical travel for healthcare. Remote learning programs are helping students stay connected to city-based schools without having to fly hundreds of miles. Drone deliveries for medicine and critical supplies are being tested in certain regions. While these innovations can't replace the human connection and flexibility of a proper airport, they offer a lifeline when flights are limited or grounded. But the truth is, nothing can fully replace a functioning airport. In emergencies, when minutes matter, the ability to take off and land a plane can mean the difference between life and death. That's why advocates argue that sustaining remote airports isn't just about economics. It's about equity, safety, and community survival. These airports are the arteries of remote Australia, keeping people connected to essential services, loved ones, and opportunities. The question now is what the future holds. With continued population shifts towards cities, the risk of further closures looms large. However, governments, airlines, and communities are recognizing that these airports are not just a cost. They are an investment in the well-being of remote Australia. Programs are being discussed to stabilize funding, improve infrastructure, and even create incentives for airlines to maintain these crucial routes. Stories from the ground paint a picture of both struggle and hope. Take the pilot who flies into tiny outback towns every week. He talks about the joy of seeing families reunited, the relief of delivering urgent medical supplies, and the pride in keeping these communities connected. For him, it's not just a job, it's a mission. For residents, it's reassurance that no matter how remote their home might be, they are not forgotten. It's clear that the crisis isn't just logistical, it's emotional. Airports in remote Australia are more than concrete runways and terminal buildings. They are lifelines, symbols of connection, and pillars of community. Losing one isn't just losing a transport link. It's losing part of the social fabric of these isolated towns. So what can we do as observers or supporters? Awareness is the first step. Understanding the challenges these airports face helps build public support for solutions that prioritize community survival over short-term profits. Sharing these stories, engaging with policymakers, and supporting regional initiatives can help ensure that remote Australia remains connected, resilient, and thriving. In the end, the story of Australia's remote airports is a reminder of something fundamental. Access matters, connection matters, and the human spirit, when backed by ingenuity and support, can overcome even the most isolated circumstances. These small airports, often overlooked by the broader world, are proof that even in the most remote corners, life, hope, and opportunity can still take flight. If you found this story eye-opening, inspiring, or simply thought-provoking, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us continue to tell stories that matter, uncover hidden challenges, and celebrate the resilience of communities around the world. Because sometimes, the most important flights aren't measured in miles, they're measured in the lives they touch.